Thank you so much for joining me. It's such a pleasure having you here, and I'm really excited to get to know you better. And I really appreciate the opportunity as well to get to know you better. Yeah, so I just usually start off with, just like a little intro about yourself.
All right. Hi, I'm Vanessa. You might know me better as Daisy de la Hoya. I am most known for my TV shows on appearance on Rock of Love and Daisy of Love, which were two reality shows. I also do music, and I am an aspiring artist and TV personality.
That's amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa, again for being here. As I kind of mentioned, my interest was stemming from your work in the past on reality TV show. And so I was just going to kind of start there, like just kind of taking us back, just kind of seeing things from your perspective and just starting here. So Rock of Love was such a wild ride for viewers. What was the most surprising part of being on the show that people wouldn't expect from watching it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time wherever you want to start.
Really like a lot of direction from you know there wasn't any drug use, so that's
Yeah.
that's one. Well, so a lot of people think there was drug use. As it went further and further along, more producers, you got more involved with the producers,
Yeah.
each person. So like, at first the producers weren't really involved, and then the deeper you got into it, like the less girls there were, the more you got to know the producers.
I see. I see. Kind of as like contestants were being eliminated one by one, you
Yeah, and
started
then
having
some of the
more.
producers and the people behind the scenes would come out to you and sort of like, start talking to you a little bit more and sort of getting to know your personality so that they can create more like a specialized kind of like component to the show so it can get like a little bit more interesting.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And did you, when that happened, like that kind of like one on one, like you're describing, it went from really no contact to like little by little as contestants were leaving, we're getting closer and closer face to face with these producers. Was that kind of like for the, like, would you say the best or the worst? Like, how did you feel about that?
Well, then that's when they started getting more info on you so that they
I
can really
see.
hone in onto like how to like steer the show in order to really navigate who they really wanted to be,
I
so that
see.
they can give that info to like Brett, I guess, and make those decisions about who they thought was going to be a good fit and be more, because before I was just kind of like random, pointless, you know, people, girls being chaotic, and then once
Right,
they kind of like
right.
eliminated people, then you would kind of get a little bit more, you start to get to know more of some of the people behind the scenes so that they can kind of communicate with you a little bit more and get
Right.
to know your personality better so that they
Yeah.
can see more. And then of course, you open up to them and then they get to know who you are, and then they get more dirt on you.
I see. I see. So it was kind of like, I guess, would you say kind of like good or bad, right? I guess it
Well,
depends
a little
on
bit
what they
bad because
discover.
yeah, if you're like me, I'm like a really open person. So I'm just like, like,
You just
oh,
put it out there.
here's my
Yeah.
life, blah, 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 just talking randomly. And then they're like, oh yeah, oh okay, really? and
Yeah, they're just like
then
writing.
and then I'm like, all right, well I'm gonna go out there and talk to Brett.
Yeah. And they're like, great,
And they're like,
great.
I'll catch
Thank
you
you so
later.
much.
And they're like, cool, see you later, good luck. And I'm like, all right. And then like,
Yeah.
later on they're like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, wait a minute, how they know that? And I'm like, oh yeah, because I like told them that shit. Like,
Right.
like, and then I'm
But you
like,
didn't think they were
oh
listening.
no, because I'm like super open person. Because I
I
don't have
see.
and I guess that's what made me like really good for that type of particular style of entertainment, because I'm really naturally like just like really comfortable, letting people in.
Yeah, you're very comfortable in your skin, you're confident, you're fun. I mean, you're just yourself. I mean, really. So I completely agree with that. They definitely, took interest in you because I feel like at least when I was watching the show, like you really stood out. And I definitely get a picture now of like how that can be like a positive and negative thing, like depending on what you say, how they communicate it back to Brett. Because I mean, going back into the show, I definitely got the feel that information, no matter where on the spectrum, was definitely taken in very heavily. I mean, you had some girls who mentioned that they had just left a relationship and get cut in the same day, like there was really no chance for explaining things further. It was just very like cut and clean, it kind of seemed almost.
Yeah.
Thank you for, giving us some insight on that. I wanted to kind of, while we're on this topic, speaking of just kind of like your personality coming out, what was it in like them kind of taking more interest in you as a personality? What was it like transitioning from being a contestant on Rock of Love to having your own spin-off, Daisy of Love? Like, did you feel more pressure to be on when the spotlight was entirely on you, or how'd you feel?
Yeah. I don't find myself very interesting. I find it a lot harder to be, there's just saying where, especially when it becomes, I always want to be funny. Naturally I'm dramatic because everything about me is like a big dramatic wreck.
I got you. I
I
got you.
cry like all the time, but I always want to be funny, but you can't force funny. So I'm like, do I be funny? But of course everything about my life would be dramatic.
I
So
see.
I'm trying to be funny, but it turns out everything is gonna be sad,
No, I
So,
got you.
I feel pressure to be like, so yeah, it's really because I want people to watch the show because I
Right.
want producers to like me and I want everybody to be happy. They put a bunch of money into a production. I want viewers
Right.
to like it.
Right. All the
Um,
editing and stuff.
because it's important to me because somebody picks you for something like that. That's a big deal. I don't want to mess around, you know.
I totally understand. Yeah, like
Um,
that pressure to like really perform and provide content and
yeah,
give them something to put out there. Especially at the time, there was no like Instagram or Snapchat. This was all television, so it was like really
yeah.
all on the spot.
And that's like my whole livelihood. Those are my dreams hanging by my own, like this is my time to be like, this is what I wanted my whole life. So I have to like really, demonstrate to people why it's worth it. And then, why these guys are, like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
No,
feel
yeah, you have a
beautiful.
whole lot of men. Yeah.
I don't feel beautiful. So I'm like, do these guys even like me? So I have to like, you know, do things or be beautiful for them or whatever it is they want.
Right. Like it wasn't just like on screen, it was also like in person, you're saying. Like you
Yeah,
also had to have like a whole get up, not just
yeah,
for
because I have
the
a really
cameras.
bad, I like especially that I had really low self esteem, and so I didn't feel, I just didn't even. And so I had a really hard time engaging with them, anyways.
Right, right.
I was just like in my
No,
own world. I didn't really connect.
right.
I didn't really like trying to connect with them deeply. Because
And I can see,
I was
yeah,
my own, I had my own,
your own stuff going
problem.
on.
Yeah, internally. Yeah, I wasn't really concerned like necessarily about like connecting with them on an emotional level, to be honest with you. I was more just worried about am I being interesting enough for the camera and for the producers and for them. Do I look beautiful?
Right.
And
Like the
that's all I was.
audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely had like a lot in mind. It sounds like, from what you're saying, and I didn't even think about this myself. It's like it's not even just the cameras, it's the people that are there with you actively. It's the footage. It's, basically
Yeah,
where the
I was
footage is
like, am I
going.
entertaining
And
everybody? Is
yeah, like
everybody
and that's a
laughing?
lot.
Is everybody having a good
Yeah.
time?
Because that's a
Like
lot of
so
entertainment. You had like a bunch
happy,
of guys and you had yourself and your producers, and that was like
Yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah, that's all that was like my if I had a goal, if Daisy had a goal, that
Yeah.
would be her goal to making sure that everybody was like feeling happy and like
Yes.
making sure that Daisy was doing a good job. That like every
Yeah.
day that somebody would just be like, you did a good job, Daisy, good job. Every day.
Yeah. Like
Every
once you heard that, you were like
Yeah.
checked
Then
out
I
for
was
the
like,
day. You were
yay.
like done. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people consider like the pressure that I think it's so easy to distance ourselves from someone on TV and not consider that they're still human. They still have emotions and feelings and needs and wants and desires. And I think especially back then, reality TV was kind of produced on a bit of that mentality where it's like we're just a bunch of puppeteers. We're in front of the camera and just doing what the views need and what the producers say work. And even the people we work with in that industry completely forget that we're human too, and we get pushed into this kind of corner where, like you said, now it's on us. Now we're carrying the weight, right? Like
Yeah.
it was so crazy because I agree. Like I would watch the show and I don't know. I don't want this to come off like judgy, but just kind of like reading the social cues, your body language. it did kind of have a bit of an inkling, that you were kind of trying to keep up with everything, because I
Yeah.
can only
I
imagine how
felt like I was
overwhelming
like
it
super
was.
confident. I wasn't, because I'm still not a super confident person, but definitely back then I was like not confident. That show gave me so much confidence. Being on Rock of Love built birthed my confidence.
I got
Being
you.
in a band actually birthed my confidence more than anything.
Like it helped
Before
you.
then, I had no confidence in my life at all. I was like the most shy, couldn't barely look people in the eyes.
Right, right.
And then,
Like very
but
to
because of that,
yourself.
people thought I was a bitch. My one ex boyfriend thought, that was on the show. He would call me like the Ice Princess. But
Oh,
I was like, no,
wow.
that wasn't my personality at all. I was
Yeah,
shy. I was like so shy, so low self esteem. Cry myself to sleep. Kind of person because I was
I feel
so.
you.
And then when I was in that band, and then that gave me like confidence, and it wasn't a confidence.
Yeah.
Aha, look at me now. I mean,
No,
secretly,
yeah.
that's how I wanted to be, but I
But it
still
just gave
couldn't
you a
get that.
boost.
Yeah, I still couldn't get there. It gave me a boost to think that, like, okay, I can do this.
Yes, because you've
Okay,
already done
God,
it.
I can do
Yeah.
it. All right.
Yeah.
Like
No,
maybe this
rightfully
is what I'm.
so.
Yeah, and then from there it kept going and going and going, and then I was finally like, yes, like I'm not I am as beautiful as those people on TV, or I can do this, even though I'm not 5'7" or
Right, right.
or
Like all
like
these
102
comparisons.
pounds, or and even though I have tattoos, and even though my hair is not perfect, and my features aren't like asymmetrical, and I can
Yeah.
do it.
No, I got you. And I'm happy that you were able to feel such self-accomplishment. I mean, that's definitely, something to, yeah, reward and celebrate yourself with, because yeah, if you've done it, you can do it again. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I wanted to ask too, like just being on reality TV show, like something I think about as a woman, and I just wanted to ask you as like woman to woman. Okay, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, and by the way, I love your little setup. It's really
Oh,
cute.
thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know if I should have like blurred the background, but I was like, no,
No,
I
it's
don't know.
super cute.
Thank you so much. Yeah, sorry about that. That other mic died. But no, I was just saying I apologize because I like tend to ramble and like stack words when they're probably not needed.
No,
Um,
it's
so I,
fine.
so I was just trying to say, like, there's always like in the film industry, right? Whether you're doing TVs or movies, there's always that kind of like extra pressure on women in that field to always look a certain way, meet a certain criteria. And I was just curious if you had felt that kind of pressure.
Well,
But it's
everybody always like wants me to be blonde all the time, so that's annoying. But
really okay.
and I don't know like
Yeah.
what that's about, but
It
you
could have
know,
been just the era, I feel like. Would you agree? Kind of like
I
that
don't know. I
2000s
don't know that.
signature.
Maybe I just look ugly like every other look, but like
Oh my God,
I
I
don't know.
don't think so. I
But like
personally don't
I
think
like to
so.
be, I mean, naturally I'm a brunette, so like I don't know,
Yeah.
some people might be shocked by that, but like and so I think to me brunette is very classy,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I don't know if I did that blonde sort of bimbo thing like really good, and maybe I am a bimbo. I don't know.
I would
But
think you did the look well, but yeah, I think you look great
I
with
think they're
any
just so
color.
used to like seeing me like that, but that's not always who I am anymore.
Right.
Do I
Right.
want to be blonde? Yes, but can I be somebody different, or can I
Be yourself.
have a different color of hair? Yes, because
Yeah.
I've been coloring my hair since I was 11 years old,
Yeah,
and
same.
I've colored my hair every color you can imagine. And I'll
But it was
probably
like such a shock for people to see you out of blonde, huh?
yeah,
Like it just was so weird.
I'm really happy that like the day that like one time I decided I was like, you know what, I'm gonna color my hair like black now for a while. I
Right.
felt like myself like again because
Yeah, because you're
I'm not
naturally a brunette.
yeah, I'm not always like this character Daisy,
Yeah.
you
And how
know.
was the response from people? Like, do you recall any
They didn't
specific
like it.
encounters?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
they didn't like it. They didn't like it. And I felt really good. I felt like I can separate myself from like this other
Persona.
invention. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt happy. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep myself like this for quite some time because I appreciated it.
Yeah, no.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes as a person who is I want to not get lost in like
Like these personas, like these like would you say like personas that yeah,
yeah,
sure you play a part in, but it's not you.
yeah, it's not like always 100% me, there's more to me than that one side of that person.
Right.
That
Like
is a
it
part of
was
me because I played that part at that time, but there's more to me than just that.
absolutely, yeah. And I would say my next question actually kind of ties into this because I feel like you were such an iconic figure on Rock of Love that, that caused a lot of shock for people. And did you, in the time that you were on the show, did you ever imagine you'd become such a memorable part of reality TV history?
No, I dreamed of being something my whole life, but and this is great. I'm so grateful. This is so cool.
No,
You know,
absolutely. You've
I think it's like the
accomplished a
coolest
lot.
thing ever. I think this is the greatest life. I live like a really weird life. I live a great life. It might not be I might not be like Paris Hilton or Madonna.
Overrated.
Like, but this is cool. This is great, and I'm so grateful, and I love my fans. I'm so grateful. I know I might not be a billionaire or whatever, but like this. I'm so grateful.
No, as long as you're happy. And I honestly, like the reason I had interest in reaching out to you is because I see that a lot of your followers from back in the day are with you. And I see the support and
Yeah,
I see your updates and they really do care for you. And I think that's amazing that you have that so that they can continue
yeah.
to
You know,
be with you in your next journey here, your next
it's better
chapter.
than nothing. Yeah, it's better than nothing, and for those people to allow me to continue to be who I am and thrive, and even still allow me chances to like keep be able to have an opportunity to still do the things that I want to do and be the
Yeah.
people I want to be. I think that's so nice of them, and I love that. Thank you.
No, yeah, and it's fantastic that you do. Like again, I see your updates and I see the comments. Like people really are just rooting for you. I feel like they've been with you every step of the way. They understand the struggles you've had, and I think it's amazing that although what we're discussing here is that maybe you didn't have a lot of like freedom or you had not really much freedom. You had a lot of pressure on you during your time of filming. I think it's great. You can enter an era now in your life where people are here for you as Vanessa and just want to see what's next for Vanessa and what she's up to, not Daisy. There's no, at least from my understanding, are you facing any of those same pressures nowadays, like to be a specific persona, or you really feel accepted as yourself?
I have no idea, honestly. I'm just trying to like make
Yeah.
it through the day, no, I don't think so. I don't think I am. I don't think that's there anymore. Like I think that that was like so long ago.
It's good to hear that you don't really deal with it nowadays. Like you're
No.
really just free to be yourself and who you
Yeah,
want
no, I
on
totally
social
agree.
media. So like reality TV in the 2000s had such a unique energy. So looking back, what do you think set that era apart from today's reality TV shows?
Well, I don't know because I don't really watch any TV at all. So I
Okay,
can't
good for you. No, good for you.
like
Because I'm thinking of myself how I never get anything done and I'm stuck on the TV. So genuinely good for you unplugging.
I mean, I know that it was new, so I mean, but I don't know. Reality TV has been around for a while. I know, like, you know,
Right.
there was like different aspects of it that you can consider reality TV.
I would say back then.
It was like, back. Yeah, okay, go ahead. What would
Oh,
you say?
no, no, sorry. I was just gonna probably might say what you were gonna say. It's like I feel like back then it was a lot crazier. Like
Yeah,
nothing is censored. I don't know if you know that. Like if you watch the show now, they have not censored everyone's goods that showed up on that show. Like it's still out there. And they still haven't blurred it, even though that changed from 2000s to now.
yeah. Like, a lot of people were really outrageous back then. They were like a lot of alcohol was involved.
Oh my
People
God,
were
like that one girl, Tiffany, in the first season, don't threaten me with a good time. She was, oh my God. She went from very like sober to just plastered throughout the entire season. I mean, since we're on the topic, like what have you witnessed, like when the cameras were rolling or weren't, in regards to that, like the partying, the drinking, like what's the craziest thing you can recall?
I just a lot of just being just but just regular like things that you would see.
Like at
a
a bar or
yeah,
something.
like a strip club or something. Just like
Oh, okay, okay.
regular like things, just girls being
Yeah.
girls, spring break kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's
Nothing too chaotic, you
that's a good
know.
way to describe it
Yeah.
though. That's like
So,
spring break.
women being women, having fun, the just doing their normal, funny thing.
You've been through such a unique life journey from reality TV to where you are now. So, how have your experiences shaped the woman you are today?
Oh, geez. Well, they've definitely made me a lot more fearless. There's a lot. I have very little fear, which can be good or bad. You know, living, trying so hard to live in the moments,
Yes.
not take things for granted, loving people, and being really, kind to people,
Yes. Yeah.
um, embracing people and yeah, really acknowledging people.
Kind of in comparison, you were saying, correct me if I'm wrong, because I can relate to this on my own personal level. Like I've been through some childhood trauma that really put me in survival mode. And I honestly just found a good chunk of my life of me, like just trying to get through the day, not absorb it, not appreciate it, not really digest it, because I just was trying to get in and out of the day, basically. So
Mhm.
would you kind of say like you feel a difference in that as well in
Yeah,
comparison?
hyper awareness of everything. But
Yeah.
I've always been that way, like really sort of hyper aware of everything, noticing everything more so. But it's really hard to it's been such a long time, it's been I'm just really, really so happy. Like, but
No,
it keeps getting
absolutely.
better and better, you know?
I was going to say too, like there are so many, like kind of speaking, sorry, real quick, back to the spring break mentality of like the environment of the show a little bit with contestants. There are so many dramatic moments on both Rock of Love and Daisy of Love. What do you think you learned most about yourself from those intense experiences?
Yeah, I really wasn't very present and
I
able
gotcha.
to really engage with people as much as I would have liked to. What would you call like my level of being able to have like a good like intimacy with people, it wasn't there because I didn't know how to
Okay.
connect with people. So the
Yeah.
show is about like having to be able to like connect with somebody or with
Yeah.
people,
Like
not
talk
people
and
on the show and not the one individual person, like because I didn't know how.
like you
I
didn't
couldn't
know how to
really,
make that
it was
connection.
always all about me on either instance. Too busy like in my head thinking
Yeah.
about how um uncomfortable I was and how like you know much anxiety I had and like how I just wanted to like have a drink or like
Right.
do some drugs or something like that.
Try to like calm yourself down,
Yeah,
something with your vices. Yeah.
yeah. The first time I went, the time that I went on Rock of Love, that was like my 30-day sentence to rehab.
Really?
Yeah, because like I had
Wow.
been I had been desperate, praying to God, sitting there
Yeah.
thinking to myself, I need a change. God, please help me. I'm fucked up on
Like
drugs.
give me a
Part of my language.
sign, something. Oh
That
no, you're
I was
good.
like literally there, like praying in my apartment. I remember being so messed up on drugs, on cocaine, like just crawling on the carpet, trying to pick up like little flakes of like cocaine. And my
Yeah.
ex-boyfriend, he's in the next room because he didn't do drugs at all. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, sleeping, whatever. And I'm just
Yeah.
sitting like rolling around on my carpet, thinking like, God, something, help me, God. I was like looking into rehab. I was like,
Yeah.
and that's the God honest truth. And then, I'm like praying to God, like something, help me. I was so messed up. And then God gave me that show, and that show was like 30 days. That was like
Yeah.
rehab to me.
Like you couldn't
And
have anything.
yeah, that was what God gave me actually. And
That's
I
good.
didn't do drugs, but I drank though, of course. So,
So
that
yeah,
was
you had like a bit of a clutch, but you were like cold turkey trying to
yeah,
push
so that's why
yourself through
I was
this
a little bit weird about that show
self-rehabilitation.
because I had just I was actually coming off of coke. I was coming off of drugs I was coming off of
Yeah.
cocaine.
And how was that? Like, did you have to experience your withdrawals there? You had
Yeah,
to, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get
I
through
was coming off
that?
coke. Well, I didn't really think about it because I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about a withdrawal. All I know is that like I was because I didn't have I had alcohol to get me through it.
Right, right. So you
And
had
I have
some,
my own
oh,
TV show, and I wasn't thinking about it.
yeah, that
I was
makes
just
sense.
like,
You,
but I was like, and I remember I think having a conversation with like Heather at one instance, and the
yeah,
camera was there, and it was sort of like off camera even, and that's when I was telling her about my cocaine problem. Oh, really? You got a cocaine problem? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and because I was having a the withdrawal problem. I was like
yeah,
emotionally, my emotions were all messed up and everything
yeah,
because I didn't really know anything about having withdrawals and like
right. Like what to
I
expect and
didn't
how you're gonna
because I didn't know
feel.
anything about it because I was the only one that was doing the drugs in the relationship in my relationship, and this was the first time that I had a break from the drugs.
Wow. And Heather,
Uh,
really quick going back to that, did she
Nobody knows
like,
it yet because I never really even thought about it, but like thanks to
yeah,
Mark Cronin, thanks
yeah,
to this was like my first like thing of rehab because like I didn't have like and that was that was what God gave me. I prayed for like
yeah.
I was like desperate. I was like, dude. But then as soon as it
And
was done, I went right back to the drug.
did when you told Heather, was she the only person you had told some like the only person you had
Yeah,
told
because
on
I thought
that
she was gonna
set?
be my friend.
That's what I was gonna lead to is like, did she
Yep.
actually come through? No. So
No,
you told her and she didn't
I thought
care
she was gonna be
basically.
my friend. Yeah, I hoped that she would be my friend, like, and that's why I was like trying to confide into her
Yeah,
because
because she,
I was desperately looking for a friend to like be my
right.
friend. And I was like fucked up. I was like
She
really
was,
fucked up.
so she was fake basically. It
Oh
was
yeah,
all
for
just for the
sure.
cameras. How did that
I was
relationship
desperate looking
end?
for somebody to help me like be a friend. Huh?
Sorry, I was curious because like you saw her as a friend. How did that
Yeah,
relationship end ultimately?
yeah.
Like, did
Well,
you just not see her after the show?
oh no, I was never her friend. We were never friends.
Oh, okay. So after that moment, it was very clear her intentions, and then that was that.
No, this was like during the filming.
I see. Okay. So you told her, confided in her. She didn't do anything, didn't blow the whistle, didn't try to help you get into any rehabs,
No, this was like
nothing
during the filming. There was like a part in the filming where like I had like kind of come to her and like said like, yeah, I'm having a problem. I was
about
having a problem with like cocaine or whatever,
Charles. Yeah.
and then that's when she kind of like used it against me and started being like, oh, really? But it
Wow.
was like really a small little tidbit because I didn't want to like
Yeah.
tell everybody, and then like
Yeah.
it was like a really small little thing.
I got you. I was just curious like how that played out because she always would pretend to be, even after your season, she would come back and pretend to be like this mom to the girls, like this, not like mom of the group, but she would be like, yeah, you can come to me with anything. And so it's really disappointing to hear that, she took a liking to you on
Right.
camera, but it wasn't real behind the scenes.
That was on the first yeah, that's why like when she first had came into the house, and that's what had happened. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, like I'm having like back in my home life, and then that's when she like targeted me, and she was like,
Really?
oh really, you're having a problem with drugs, and I was like, uh-oh.
But you didn't know. You were just trying to confide in someone that
Yeah,
you
because
thought you could
like
trust. And
right.
that really reflects her more than it reflects you because she should have been a decent human being. But I honestly got the inkling that she was just like a 15 seconds of fame kind of girl to kind of focus on your growth since then. After your reality TV days, you've kept somewhat low key compared to other stars from the time. So, what have you been passionate about since then? And what are you working on now?
After that, I got really passionate about my education and, doing that. Went to school, traveled the world for a while. I went and pursued a degree in political science and
Nice.
anthropology, and that took up a lot of my time. I
Okay.
was in France for a while, and Japan, and and doing things like that, which I was really passionate about.
That's amazing.
Work that really meant something, and I really got involved. I really liked anthropology a lot. I think that's a
Anthropology is really cool.
yeah,
I enjoy it
it's a really
myself.
nice field. Political science became it's a very heated subject, but so I sort
Yeah.
of turned more towards something that was a little bit more, um, you know, um,
Manageable.
a little bit more manageable because, I tend to get very, debatable. I like to debate. I like a good debate. So
You're very
I
passionate.
I'm
Yeah.
very, I can get very passionate. So, someone
Yeah.
like me can get very, music. I became very, very passionate in music. So I started doing that. Um, I had always been doing music, but music, I went and I did my own band and I did that for quite some time and I'm still doing that. But school really took the front runner. Um, and, I was in a relationship for a very long time and that sort of that and school and everything. And that's sort of what I, had been doing for a while, for, a good part of like the, better like the last 10 years. Really,
Yeah.
took up a lot of
Like,
my time.
yeah, it's like a very good chunk. Yeah, a good chunk of your time in like your life. So yeah, you
Yeah,
definitely,
you
safe
know,
to
very
say, very
passionate,
passionate.
time consuming, and very, very things that I was very serious about. So, that's pretty much what I've been doing, and doing a lot of, the best I can, being an advocate for things like, you know, suicide prevention and animal welfare, and the best that I can in those aspects, and now I'm, very much so a contender for my own sobriety.
Yeah, no, and congratulations. I know that's been a successful journey thus far. If you don't mind me asking, just for those who are listening, how long has it been since you like your sobriety?
Well, now it's been 6 months. My sobriety date is February 29th,
That's
2024.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it's been
fantastic.
really hard. It was time to like completely 100% become sober. It was a necessary thing that had to happen. That my
For
relationship,
you. Yeah.
they weren't manageable anymore, and I had some really good friends, help me, and they said that I needed to go, and I listened to them because I love them, and they care about me deeply,
Right.
and I'm so thankful and grateful for them. And I think it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. And every day I fight to continue to remember that
Good.
I need to make that and keep that decision, because for a long time I was, in denial, and it just
Yeah.
got worse and worse and worse and worse. And, I was recluse. I was really
Yeah.
recluse for quite some time. And I've never been more like, I was in Las Vegas for a long time, and I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do
Yeah.
anything. And I'm not going to blame the relationship or anything like that. I have a lot to work on for myself, and I still do. And I've really feel, I've grown as much as I can, and I'm continuing to grow as a person, I hope, and make the best strides that I can. And I'm really happy that I have those people to help me. I was doing really bad at the beginning of this year, and I'm so glad that I've continued to fight towards that. And it's an everyday struggle, but I support that, and I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for those friends.
Yeah, and Vanessa, I mean, honestly, like applaud you. I mean, it's not an easy journey, like you said. It is a struggle daily. I don't think a lot of people voice that or are open about it. That the road to recovery and the road to being, addiction free, whatever that vice is very, very hard. So I really applaud you and congratulations on being 6 months sober. I really can't wait to see where this journey takes you, and I hope you keep on pushing. I wanted to circle back to your mention of like animal sanctity. i
Yeah.
I know you worked with several nonprofits including PETA and to write love on her arms. So have your experiences in the spotlight influenced your desire to give back and support these causes, or was, like you kind of said, that was always just something you've had a passion for?
My whole entire life, I've had a passion for animals. I'm not perfect as far as like, I didn't grow up like anything like some people. They've grown up with like their parents and stuff like that, having a specific thing. I didn't when I was a kid, but my mom,
Right.
has always been, I've always grown up with animals and like a passion for animals. So I've always known to treat animals good. And
Yeah.
that's what I've done my whole life. And so I have learned about ways to treat animals and foundations and do things that are right. And I'm just in my blood, I'm Native American. I'm 24% Native American. I think it's just a natural thing in like my DNA that says that you must treat the land and the earth. And to me, animals are like the one thing that, like, to me, like, that is like a no. You don't. you don't hurt to me, you don't hurt it. Like I'm
Yeah.
okay, like in some respects, like you can, fine, you can, you want to eat your animal, that's okay. You want to use your animal for for a clothing thing, okay, but especially if you're like gaming, you just want to recklessly hurt an animal, that I'm not
Yeah. Like
seriously,
hunting.
yeah, or like
Yeah.
you're just gonna torture an animal for like that's where I'm like, I'm always
Like
on the
you
like
draw the line.
my ears are always like on the perk of like if I hear an animal like making any little like stupid,
Right.
I'm like what was that? Like I'm always
Yeah. Like, are they
like
okay?
what was that? Are you okay? Like is that
Yeah.
animal
Like
okay?
always making sure.
All good? Like that's how I am. I talk to birds. Like I'm like little animals everywhere. Like I'm very very very
In
um
tune.
love with that. But and don't get me wrong, if an animal's gonna, hurt me, we gotta make
Yeah.
a decision.
Mountain
There's
lions or something.
instinctual thing. We can't be stupid, obviously. So I'm not just gonna sit
Yeah.
there and be, hey little bear, it's like
Yeah.
you gotta do like there's boundaries. I try to practice to the best of my ability a vegan lifestyle. I'm not flawless. If I know something to my knowledge is like, oh shit, I just ate some freaking, I think
Right.
it had butter in it or whatever the fuck, but, or that product was made from
Yeah.
whatever. But I try to do my best because that's what I believe in my ethics, my moral, and I'm also allergic to dairy anyways.
I
Um,
see.
and
Okay.
so, but that's what I believe in. And again, I'm not perfect, just like I'm not perfect on my, on anything else, but I try my
Well, yeah.
best. And that's what
Just
I,
anybody too.
and that's what, and I'm not trying to like say everyone else should do that. You can do what you want to do. This is what I believe in. This is what makes
Absolutely.
me happy. This is what I root for. That's just what makes me in my soul, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I think that was well put for sure. I think animals are, I agree with you. Like I think they are, like I have to be upfront. I'm not vegan, but I do love my animals. I've always had animals in my life. I would never harm my babies, but they really are not deserving of humans. I mean, they are the most loyal, precious companions we could really ever ask for on the face of the planet. So I mean, I've always, like yourself, just loved to have animals around me. Like it's just I don't know, they make the environment better.
Right. And like I said, I'm not perfect and I try to make the best decision I can for like my animal and other animals.
And like you said, when you're educated on something, you act accordingly, you
Yeah,
adapt, and that
exactly.
I think is we can ask for when it comes to
Right.
certain advocacies is like just having an open mind.
Right. Exactly. Because I'm only human at the end of the day. So
Exactly. We're bound to make mistakes and learn from them. It is just life.
exactly. So
So, but having had relationships with like famous musicians like Dave Navarro and Tommy Lee, what have you learned about love, fame, and personal boundaries in relationships?
I don't really know how to answer that question because I haven't had like long, serious relationships with those people. I do know, a few of them. Some people have taught me, they're really nice people, and I wasn't ready for those types of relationships with some of them. I was a little bit too naive, a little bit, again, not able to connect and ready for,
Right. Like
you know,
very, yeah, like you kind
yeah,
of said, in your head, not really present.
I wasn't really like emotionally mature, and I was still, again on the, I was too into the drugs and too into like
Right.
those things. I wasn't like ready, so I wasn't ready for those relationships yet, and I just, and I still didn't know how to trust people, be comfortable in my own skin, and really it's just about like needing to learn how to be focused on my own self and not focus on
Right, right,
other people being too
right,
worried about other people and what they're doing all the time. I hate that.
right.
I hate that when I do that for my own self. For me, I
I
don't
get
know.
it. No, I totally
I'm always
relate.
like focused on like what they're doing, because
No,
and then I get like, and that's where my heart rate gets. I'm like, oh my God, what are they doing?
yeah.
What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Like let me add to that because I can relate where it's like, yeah, sometimes I get so focused on someone that when I finally do take a step back, I'm like where did I go? Like where did all the time I needed to put in myself? But with that being said, did you ever feel like you needed to kind of assert boundaries because, people would kind of take
Yeah,
advantage of you being checked out?
I didn't have boundaries then. I didn't have good self-esteem then still. I didn't have sobriety then.
Right.
I didn't have self enough self-love then. I didn't have I had my own sense of independence. That's one thing I did have.
Right.
I had my own
Right.
independence. I had my
Right.
own, my own finances, my own independence, my own, my own, those things I had definitely
Right. Right.
good, which is really good. Which is admirable, of course. But the other things I didn't have.
Yeah.
Now I have like my now I have although I have all those other things, but I don't have my own independence. Like I'm like struggling with the like in the middle ground of like I'm like
Now
but
it's like playing catch up.
yes, I don't know if I felt like taken advantage of or anything. I mean, sometimes I feel sad because it is what it is.
It's just like you tried it and it wasn't for you and that was it.
I
Yeah.
guess I should say those are. I guess I just need a person that's opposite of me or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and they always say opposites attract
I had a
all.
really serious long relationship with someone who wasn't in the entertainment industry, who knows the entertainment industry because like, their families in it, but like they
True.
do like completely different. So that was a good, solid relationship for a long time that was, you
Yeah.
know, but at the end of the day, like I felt loved and
Yeah, like safe and all the essentials
yeah,
for
like,
a good
I didn't
relationship.
feel like a side piece or anything. Like,
Yeah, you felt like the main
I'm like,
focus
no
and
more musicians.
yeah, you're like you better watch it, man.
Yes, like I'm done with these guys. Like,
I was curious among many other fans of the show. I know especially, and if again, let me know if you're comfortable answering this. How did things end with you and Charles? Like with the show, I know they brought him on for part of the challenge, and that was kind of like a nervous kind of sequence of events, because of the judgment that you'd possibly face with, him living with you, and you did have to deal with that. How were things like off camera going through that? Was like Charles cool? Did you guys get through that okay? Or
yeah, everything was. Sorry, I have a little phlegm
oh,
for some reason.
you're good. You're good. Same. I have allergies,
I'm like
so
a phlegm factor. I don't know why.
no, no, same. I'm still
Um.
a little raspy. Forgive me.
Oh yeah, because you had COVID. I'm so sorry about that. I hope you're okay.
Oh no,
Um.
thank you. Much better. Just a little side effect.
Everything was, like, there are a lot of like people in my life that I've dated that I'm still, not actually not a lot. I don't know why I'm talking about. Like I have like tons
You're
of these.
good. You're good.
Like, because I've had like very serious long term relationships because that's the kind of person
Yeah,
that I am personally.
I totally get you.
Because that's the kind of person that I am. Those are the kind of relationships that I personally look for. This is what I've had. Um, and Charles Edward, he happens to be one of those people. We were together for like 8 years. I'm very
Yeah.
his family. I still talk to his mother actually to this day.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, was a very good, very, very kind people. His mom's like 90 years old, and
Oh, wow.
everything was fine. He's actually getting married now, and
Okay.
yeah, I wish him luck. And
That's good.
everything was nice. He was a big support system, and if it wasn't for like everybody plays a part in your life.
Yeah,
If it
absolutely. And he
wasn't, if
did seem like he was there for you too. Like it seemed like he really was going to help you through that.
yeah, he was a huge part of my life and in my life. And if it wasn't for him playing a role in my life, like to helping me build self esteem in my life, I would never have been able to get into where I was, to become who I was, to be on that part in my life. And he even
Yeah.
knew. He knew it. We talked about all the time. He would always just say to me like, maybe I wasn't meant to really like, be your boyfriend or whatever, forever, but like I know there's some role in your life that I was meant to play. And I would just
Yeah.
say, like, and because, and that's just the sort of mature thing that people who are mature and have good,
Yeah.
healthy relationships and boundaries
Exactly.
take and are
Exactly.
able to like talk about with each other. A
No, and
lot
I
of
think that's
a lot of people think
amazing.
like, oh, you have like such dysfunctional relationships, and yeah, maybe like one or two of my relationships might have been
Or
messed
maybe
up.
to them, but
Yeah, but like not every
maybe
one
to
of my
them.
relationships have been messed up, like I actually,
Yeah.
you know,
And I could tell.
most of
Yeah.
my relationships have been like pretty decent. Do in actual reality have, my life has been messed up, but as a result, I'm very picky about who I let into my life. You know,
Right. Like I don't know if you could relate to this. Like I feel like every relationship is only ever just a lesson. And if anything, it brings you closer to understanding what you want out of a partner and what to
Mhm.
expect for yourself, going
Yeah,
forward.
yeah. When it comes to relationships, I'm like really picky. I'm very, 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 very picky.
Yeah. And I don't blame you, honestly. I have a partner, but I mean this dating pool is, it just makes you want to like just go crazy. It's I don't know where to even start. I just know that I have a bunch of girlfriends in the pool and it's just not looking good. So I
Well,
don't
just
blame
like
you
it's
for being
been hurt,
picky.
it's been hurt like so many times, like, but just in life in general and everything, you're just,
Absolutely.
guarded, and you're just like,
Yeah. No, it changes how you hold yourself and like go about your interactions or like you said, or like if it's kind of like a romantic category, you're very like you said, like hyper aware. Like you're trying to find the red flags, make sure we're
yeah,
not
or
repeating history.
when you're used to being, or when you're very self-sufficient, and then you're just like, well, I don't need this, or I don't need that. So it's like, what I
Yeah.
don't need, you know.
No, that makes sense. And I'm really glad to hear that like and honestly it seemed like it. Like you and Charles, even on TV, like in my personal opinion, to me, you guys were like the healthiest like pair out
Yeah,
of everyone there.
we were really healthy. Charles is a really healthy person. He was really healthy for me because I need a balance of somebody. Like, I can be very, very I'm very, he was a very healthy person. He worked out. He was very grounded. He's a very level-headed, logical person. I'm an
Yeah,
emotional, crazy train wreck person. I need that kind of person to balance me
I
out.
feel
So
you.
we work very well together in life. At some point, though, we just didn't work out because I wanted to do things and be things, and he wasn't. He's kind of a safe person.
Yeah, like he wasn't
Very
willing to kind of take
safe.
those risks.
Like, he looked like really like out there, but
Outgoing,
like in
yeah.
actuality he's very square. Like, and then
No, yeah.
I'm like, and then I was growing, I was very young, so I was like, I'm ready to fucking jump off
Like
buildings and like
go.
and
Yeah. And you
go. I'm
had
like, this is
this
it.
TV
He's just
show
like,
too.
I don't I'm like, dude, I'm out of here. Like, I'm
You're like,
ready to
I'm ready to go.
cocaine off of strippers' boobs now. He's just like, I just let me write it down first for a little bit and like
Oh
think about it
no.
for like 5 weeks. I'm like, no. I'm like,
You're like, now,
I'm
now.
like, I'm doing this. He's like, I'm like, dude, he's like so even keel and level headed. I'm just like,
Yeah.
to me.
But I understand. It seems
Like,
like differences.
then I pissed him off like one too many times, because like he's like, how many times do I have to like, he would get like really pissed off at me like so many times because I would always just be like,
Yeah.
then he would get like so sick of it, and then he just didn't want to be my friend anymore. And I'd be like,
You're like, all right. Okay
which is
then.
fair,
Yeah.
but
I
then
totally get you.
his family wants, is still like wants to be my friend. Thank God, or my friend.
No,
So
yeah.
he's a really good person, and he's a really smart, very, very smart person. His whole family is really smart.
That's amazing. I'm glad you still have
I'm
that
really
support
lucky.
system.
Yeah, I'm like really lucky to like his mom, wants to talk to me every day and make sure I'm okay.
I'm
You know,
glad she's there for
I'm glad
you.
he's happy and he found somebody who works for him, like gives him what he needs or whatever. And
Totally.
he worked for me like it for a while, but then I was too much for him, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate, he really took care of me as a person.
Yeah. Like he was there for you when you needed him. And like
Yeah,
you said,
he really
differences kind of like separated things. But I think
he
it's
was my
great that you
family.
guys are on good
He was
terms.
like he was my family. He is
Yeah.
still like, but that doesn't mean that you're like gonna get back together with him or anything. That it's just
Exactly. Exactly. You're just good acquaintances,
yeah,
and that's just the best thing anyone can ask for because there's always that saying where it's like weird that you're once lovers and now you're two people that hate each other when it's like you don't have to have that hate. It's just a mutual understanding like, hey, you're going this way, I'm going this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Wish you the
And
best, you know?
that's inevitably that's what our relationship is because, obviously at one point we were very, 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 very close, good, very good friends. But at some point
Yeah.
we're just like, okay, now we're just our lives are just now not, but doesn't mean you don't have to be
Yeah.
like you, like whatever.
Exactly. You've mentioned reconciling with your estranged mother after many years. So
No,
what? Oh, no, really?
I would
Okay,
never do.
really?
Somebody
Yeah,
else's.
sorry. Sorry. Because trust me, I completely understand. I have a biological mother that's been cut out of my life since I was, wow, 16, 17. So I completely understand. But I was going to ask, what advice would give to others who are going through like a fractured
Well,
family relationships?
if that somebody wants to reconcile with their family or they're having, that's I hope that they do and they can, but for me, that's not probably
An
not
option.
somebody becomes so toxic that you risk a relapse,
Yeah.
a mental breakdown if they become too
Yeah.
toxic for you. That's just not good, and they have to either understand that. They have to be willing to understand that. When you give them time and try and try and try, and who knows,
Yeah.
maybe. But
Yeah.
nobody should be willing to have to force anybody to like reconcile with anybody's family member, whatever it is. That should be something that is discussed and a personal decision, everything,
Yeah.
because you never know what kind of like um trauma somebody could occur. And
Definitely.
that's definitely something that's a personal decision and needs to be dealt with like either like a therapist, that's a personal choice, and you never know what could be happening. But nobody should be shunned or judged or anything for their own personal reason or anything.
Yeah.
And for anyone to be like, oh, it's so good, that's not. It's that's anyone's nobody's business. And if somebody decides that one day they do want to work it out with somebody, that's great. But nobody knows
Yeah.
what goes on internally with somebody, and or what kind of physical or emotional or whatever reactions or what kind of things one person might cause or not cause,
Yeah.
and um and that's all, and that needs to be taken into consideration because that could trigger people to go into a whole tailspin of disarray or something unsafe. That can be unsafe for people, and you never know what futures hold. But at the same time, everyone's safety and whatever is going to be best for them, at the end of the day, it's one person's choice.
Right. Right. Exactly. And I think it's just a general saying is like, you never know what people are going through, you know?
Right.
So it's like when they open up to you about something they're going through and you're asserting like opinions and instead of like really listening.
Especially when you have a reaction. If you have like a reaction to something when somebody says something, then you know that that's not a healthy like thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when somebody mentions like something and you have like a gut like yuckiness, then you know that like that person's toxic.
Yeah.
So you know
No,
that
it's so
like,
true.
and that might not be the case like X time amount of whatever, but like if you're like if somebody's like says something and you're automatically like, oh, then you're like then
Like
you
a
know that
gut feeling.
yeah, then
Yeah.
there's a toxic thing. And that toxic might be within your own self and you might have to work that out with you. But like until you then, it's best that like two people don't have any interactions with each other.
Are you comfortable giving just a like it doesn't have to be an in-depth insight, but just some context as to like your struggles with your like estranged mother?
Not really. I just like, I don't I don't really talk to any of my family.
It just seems like you're describing that was probably the best decision for yourself.
Yeah, sometimes I just like to keep private for myself.
Totally. Yeah. And that's completely like justifiable. There's a lot of things that we need to be able to keep for ourselves that we don't need to share with the world, you know?
Yeah, I like to keep some things from in my life private.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for being comfortable to kind of give some context within the limits of where you're comfortable. And I appreciate that. And with that too, like reality TV often portrays like heightened drama and exaggerated personality. So how do you feel the show portrayed the real Daisy? And what's something about you that fans like didn't get to see?
I mean, anytime I'm in front of a camera, I'm gonna be like 10 times more like "Wah!"
Like
because
energy. Yeah,
that's who I
exactly.
am. You know,
Yeah,
I try not to be because I can't, because, but then that's when I get upset. I'm like, God darn it. I wish they wouldn't think that I'm like that all the time. But then I'm like, well, that's what happens when you get in front of the camera. And if you don't want them to
yeah,
see you like that, then they have to see you in real life. So then
right.
and then I'm like, well, then don't do an interview or something,
Yeah,
and like, because in real life, then just be real somber. But like, then and then if that's what, and then if they want to see you like in a different way, then they have to be with you in your whole life every day. I don't know, but like
yeah.
that would be the answer, I guess.
And I was curious too, like, did production, as far as like hair and makeup, tie into that persona too? Like, did you do your own makeup or were they doing your makeup?
No, they did my hair and makeup, but I liked that. And then so like for a
Yeah,
long time, then I was like, I don't want to do my makeup ever again. Like, not do my makeup ever.
right. It just
And
kind of
I
like
actually
shut
did
that
that I
down.
actually like did that for a while, and I felt really good about myself. I didn't do makeup. I didn't put eyelashes on for like a long
Like
time.
nothing, like the whole
Yeah,
thing,
I felt
nothing.
really good because for years in my life, I could not go anywhere, which
Yeah.
happened to a lot of people. I couldn't even look at my own self without makeup.
Yeah, I had a phase like in high
I'd be
school
like,
where it was like every single day, and I kind of had
yeah,
to, same as you, teach myself what it was like to be
it looked
without the
like,
makeup.
yeah,
Like,
I was like, holy shit, geez.
yeah, like no preparation, no cutting time out for it. I have to say, I always joke that I always got like an extra hour of sleep once I started cutting out time for my makeup because I always got up early to do it.
Yeah, when I would be like on tour but with Charles's band, I would get up like so early because I knew like how long like it would take them to get ready, and then I would have to get up
Yeah,
really early because we have to be like boom, boom, boom. So I'd
ready
get
to
up like,
go.
super early, use the bathroom, get my little routine, and totally okay with it because that's just how it goes.
Yeah, and I was the same way, but I applaud you for it because yeah, it is really hard sometimes for people to be able to break such a habit, especially when you're so used to it. With reality TV behind you, what's been the most fulfilling part of your life or career today?
All the people who love me.
And what kind of impact do you hope to leave on the world, like beyond what you achieved on television? Just like, and if that relates to anything coming up for you in the future.
Showing people that you could do anything even if you come from a background that people don't to believe in yourself even if you don't come from a typical background. Just keep believing in yourself, and anything can be possible. Take care of yourself, and don't do drugs. If you're suffering in any way, that you're going to get through it. You can get through it. You might not think so, but whatever you're experiencing, you can get through it. Some of the things I didn't think I was going to get through, I got through it.
Yeah, you've come a long way. You've definitely had a lot of moments like you were describing in your apartment where you were really just at the end of your rope, just trying to look for a sign,
Yeah,
something.
there's been times when I thought I was going to be at the end, and then it just kept getting a little bit better and a little bit better. I always thought this is the end. This is it. This is going to be, my life is over. My life is over, and then it
Right.
just keeps getting better. I'm so old, or I'm so this, or I'm so that, and then it's just like, no, this is the best part. This is the best. These are the best parts. This is the best part.
Exactly.
And you can just always like make up some way. Like I'm always like, you know what? I'm always like making up some like silly idea that I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try this.
Yeah, but then it works
Like
out
make
or it
up
like
some,
leads
and like
you.
imagination can be like get you like so far.
Yeah,
Just like make up some
absolutely.
like funny and just like laughing, like making up some funny thing, and like especially when you feel like you're gonna cry.
Yeah, yeah, like
Like,
just
the
bringing
like
humor, just bringing a smile to
yeah
your face will make all
yeah.
the
If that's
difference.
all else, I'll just like make laugh at least. Find some
And
laughter in it.
I think that's great advice because I always say like it was cheesy to me when I was younger, but this too shall pass is a
Yeah,
saying that really,
because it
really
will.
sticks with me.
Yeah.
Yes. Say if you could go back and give advice to your younger self before walking into the Rock of Love mansion, what would it be? What would that look like?
I would say again, savor those moments. Like go so slow and like be like so present.
Like allow yourself to really absorb and
Yeah, like
be
just
in the
like
moment. Yeah, and would there be any advice to your younger self in regards to like you said, like you were cutting cold turkey, you were going through withdrawals, like there was a lot of questionable relationships you were dealing with on set. What other advice do you feel your younger self would need to hear besides just, trying to be present, trying to enjoy yourself?
Your eyebrows are bad.
Yeah. Oh my God, no.
and like your skin has like a weird color to it, so you don't use lipstick that like blends into your face.
Oh no, we've all
You have
been
to have
there.
like
I
lipstick like
swear.
and like be really happy and be more happy. Like has like be
Yeah,
have more fun and smile more. Because I'm like get like really in my head a lot. That's like and
yeah.
then everything's like a big worry.
And I again totally saw that. It just seems like, and again, I gave the benefit of the doubt. Like I can only confirm it now that I'm speaking with you. But I did kind of like catch that on camera where it felt like, and honestly, I chalked it up to just again the pressure of having your own reality TV show spinoff and having to be a hostess when you've never been a hostess, and especially trying to host that many people and like trying to make connections with that many people. I mean, I don't,
Which I love to do. That's like my favorite thing is just like the like host people on like make
yes,
them all
like
happy and like
having more than, yeah, being in the house with more than one person
yeah
and like getting
and like
to,
be like yeah, that's like my favorite thing. I love that. Like
no, and you,
as years gone by, because now now you haven't seen that, but like as the
yeah,
year went by, fast forward, like that's like my favorite thing to like be able to like do is like because I love entertaining people. Those were my first experiences of it.
yeah. And as you're like getting to know like kind of that new environment and stuff, like I can only imagine like how you're trying
Yeah.
to like digest it as it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is everything okay? Did I do
Yeah.
okay?
Like what advice would you give to someone like stepping into the spotlight today? Like did you kind of feel like there
Like
was an
love
adjustment?
it.
Yeah. Soak it up kind of.
Make sure you put your chest out like stand up
Yeah,
straight.
just
Stand up
enjoy
straight.
it. Just like I'm
Yeah,
welcoming it.
yeah, stand up straight and like don't look at the cameras.
What's the funniest or most bizarre like fan encounter you've had since being on reality TV?
Well, like there, I've there's been like lots of things that have happened. I mean, I always like have this like one. Sorry, my hair's all messed up now.
Oh,
This
you're
is
good.
one like thing like that happened when I was like really high that I always remember. I was at this club
Yeah.
and I, you know, was on top of this couch and I was partying and I always like to get on top of the couches
Right,
and
right. Like the little booths.
like a little cat. Yeah, like back in the day, that's how
Yeah.
like you get on top of the couch and you're like, I like to be like a little cat. And I was like really, really, really messed up. I don't like to talk about my experiences, but
Yeah.
but I just remember this one time I accidentally standing on top of the couch and I
Yeah.
accidentally like, I was like dancing and I fell and I smoked then and I
Right.
fell and I accidentally landed my hand on top of this girl's face.
Oh no.
I was like, and I like pushed myself up on her face. I'm
Oh
pretty good.
no.
Like, I have like really good reflexes, so
Yeah.
like oftentimes like I'll fall, but I'll like catch myself because
Yeah. Like kind of buckle but catch.
yeah. And then I felt like really bad because I like used her face as like a
Like
little
to kind of hoist yourself a
yeah,
little bit, like push
and
off.
and I felt like really bad. But she was like, "Oh no, it's okay," and
Oh,
I was like,
she was a
"Sorry about
girl's
that."
girl. She's like, it's
Yeah,
okay, queen. You
yeah.
keep partying.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like really messed up on
Yeah.
drugs back then, and I felt like really awful, and I thought to myself, like, God, what a biatch I am just now. I can't believe I just did that. Like thinking to myself, like, God, I got a problem,
Was
Can't
that
even
kind
like
of one of those
can't even like
moments too?
function. Yeah.
Like where you were like, okay, this needs to
Yeah, like
stop.
I can't even like function and like
Yeah.
I just used this girl's practically put my cigarette out on her head.
Oh my God. In the
Like,
process of like
you
pushing off
know,
of her.
can't really like can't connect with her and like or anything and then she's just like, oh, it's totally fine.
Yeah. You're
And I'm
like,
like,
thank you for being such a good soul.
yeah. I'm like, sorry about that.
Have you ever had a thought like, holy shit, like, or sorry, holy crap, one day this might get me, in trouble with the wrong person. Like whether you kind of bump into them, or have you ever had those kinds of thoughts like when you were using?
Well, I've had definitely like gotten myself into like situations where, I was like in places all around the country where I would be like, all right, I just want to go back wherever I was and like,
Right,
do
right.
drugs. And I didn't care where I was. I was like,
Yeah.
there was like some places where I was like in some people's basements where I was just like,
Damn.
people could be like serial killers.
Right.
Like,
Like you
yeah,
have
this
no
is like to mention
idea.
that there are some places where I was like, I didn't know where I was. I was like, I was just like so desperate to like, you
Get
know,
your next fix.
yeah. And I was just sitting there
Yeah.
like thinking to myself, like, I think like I had like a handler with me or something, but I was just like, wow, this is really creepy right now, man. And I was just like,
Dude.
I feel like I've seen these people on Dateline or something. So
Yeah,
I
like so
was just
you
like,
would literally be like high and then
yeah.
just kind of have a moment of
And
realization
like,
like holy
I
cow.
remember, yeah, and I'm thinking, I have this like vision moment, and I'm like thinking to myself, like this is really kind of getting a little spooky. I don't even know where we were, but I was just like, this place is kind of freaky.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
Like, I'm like, all right, this is getting
You're
a
like,
little,
I'm gonna go now.
yeah. I was like, all right, I've had enough. I better go.
But I wanted to kind of focus back more on like your passion for music. And I know you've been open about your overcoming struggles with substance abuse and addiction, but what was the turning point in your recovery, and how has music helped you heal?
Well, music is something that I've done my whole entire life, and it's helped me um heal my whole life. I think it helps everybody heal, and um,
I know you've done
you
some collaborations as well in the past, like
yeah.
Black Star Electra and
Yeah, that's my that was a band that I did that I have, worked with some people that were musically talented. Dave Desario was a person that I worked with, and a person named Lucas Christensen,
yeah.
um, Chuck Irwin, and Frank Yano, who's a producer, and I got to work with those people. And I enjoyed working with other people, and I enjoy being able to learn more about music and how to produce it and write it. And those are things that I enjoy and I get really into, and even understanding how to do film. And you know I'm fascinated by art, and I'm fascinated by learning how to make those things. And you know and doing acting is boring, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like looking at it and watching people do it, but it's not really something that's like super, like, the idea of it is fun, but it's really tedious and boring. But I
Yeah.
like music a lot, though. Music is one of the things I like to do a lot.
Do you still like play today? Do you still cut out time to do that, or how is that looking for you today?
Recently I haven't been doing anything. I have been focused on trying to get my life together because I was in transition period as far as like moving or being, sort of forced to move into a different state.
Right.
And if I'm going, music is something that I'm always going to be doing um as a hobby. Art is something I'll always be doing as a hobby. All those things will always be present in my life forever because that's who I am.
Yes. I had a particular interest in your relationship with Ricky. He seemed really protective of you and seemed like he really cared. And he definitely voiced that a lot on the show. I was just curious if that was genuine.
I mean, I hope. I don't know. I can't get inside Ricky Brackman's head.
Yeah.
I, um,
How
I,
did that play out? Like, when was the last time you really spoke with him?
I mean, I didn't like speak with him physically. I had some like conversation with him, via Instagram, maybe maybe like a couple of weeks ago or something. I don't even know
Oh,
how long.
okay. So recent. Yeah.
Not like, it was just casual, but we back in the day, like, maybe like 2009 or something, we were more friends. We've been.
Yeah.
I went to his house a couple times. I was friends with his wife, and he was, some friends with. We were friends of friends, and we have a lot of we
Yeah,
had a lot of
mutuals.
fun back then. But this is when I was living in like in Hollywood area, and things were really, it's the entertainment industry, and so it's just the
Yeah.
way things kind of go sometimes. And at the end of the day, a job's a job. I don't know if he still lives there, but he used to live in Houdini's mansion off of
Really?
Mulholland Drive, I think it was. Yeah,
Wow.
and so I went there and I did like I asked him once if I could do a photo shoot there. Cool ideas where I could like do photo shoots and like things I could do photo shoots with like my band and stuff. But yeah, it was like
That's
really
so
cool. He used to
cool.
like Houdini's mansion back in
Okay.
the day. And so
Yeah.
yeah, so we were friends for a while there, and so he was a really nice guy. He was really nice, and he's always,
Yeah.
so he heard I was having some struggles, because recently I was assaulted, and
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I had
Yeah.
but some issues, and he checked in on me, and
That's good that he did reach out.
loosely like family in some ways, in some
Yeah.
senses, and so people check in on me, so
That's
it's
good.
nice.
I'm really glad that he's one of those people that was checking in on you and that happened. And I'm really happy that you're okay despite the situation. And I hope that those individuals are being held accountable.
And it is what it is, and I'm grateful, and I feel lucky that I ended up where I am right in this moment, and I feel I'm just doing the best I can, and it's a weird life.
No, and exciting at that. I mean,
I'm really happy that I'm really really happy that I'm where I am now instead of where I was like 7 months. That's all.
yeah.
7 months ago was interesting, but like it's like a lot more interesting now because I'm sober, and I feel safe, and I have a lot of work to do. That's all I know.
And I totally understand. And I think what's such a great like already celebration to have, even though it's been 6 or 7 months, it's such a
Yeah,
drastic journey for you, such a drastic
right.
comparison.
And
So
I
I
hope
think
7 months from now I'll be like, wow, that was fun where I was, but man, look how much further I've gotten, and like how
right.
great I've come, and like I feel so much happier now 7 months from now. Like,
Exactly.
and look at all like all what I did, like, so, and rather than, being like, oh, I'm gonna end my life and I'm gonna do all that, which is, where I've been in the last
Same.
months. And that's
I
horrible. And
understand.
I don't want anyone to feel like that. And I want to be able to like overcome that.
Just wanted to say that, I know we don't know each other too much on a personal level, and there's still some distance here, and again, I appreciate you being here with me and willing to talk with me, but I just wanted to say, like, as one person to another who was at a dark point in their lives and really contemplating that, I'm really happy that you're still here and you should really be proud of yourself. I mean, not that you aren't, but I just want to kind of reinforce that and like tell you, like, as one human to another, like, I'm happy you're still here because it can get really difficult. I've dealt with heavy depression. I've dealt with moments where I just wanted my mental illness to stop. I wanted the pain to stop. And so that was the only reason it ever occurred to me to maybe consider that. And I'm really glad that I did have a moment quick enough to realize like that's not the answer because I totally would have gone through with it. I probably wouldn't be here today, so I think
Mhm.
that's a part of my appreciation for you being so open and sharing this, sharing your experience because if I didn't talk about it on a video on YouTube, I don't think I would have reached the people that needed to hear it. It just happens to be by chance sometimes that people are tuning in, but you never know like what your message could do for someone who's really going through it, you
Yeah,
know
well, I'm thank you for saying that, because I mean
absolutely.
this year alone I've tried, unfortunately, several times. This is probably like
Yeah.
the biggest number of times that I've been in a hospital. I mean,
Right.
it's really sad, but it's really been dark. It's
Yeah,
probably like 8 times I've been in a 5150.
it's hard.
That's not to like, have anyone feel sad for me, or it's my own doing, and it's, who knows why I did it, or who knows, I don't know, God, whatever. I would have
Yeah.
missing out on so many, this interview,
And like the other, yeah, opportunities you've had
really
and
great,
again, the
beautiful things.
future.
yeah, these beautiful things that have happened yesterday, the day before, um beautiful conversations that I've had, the people that I've met recently, the people that I've yet to meet, all kinds of great things. These are things that God have that God has put in store for me, and my higher powers, it has said no. My higher power tells me yes and no all the time, and I try to listen to my higher power as much as I can. And sometimes I'm irrational, and I get out of control. But my biggest thing is to try to always remember to listen to my higher power as much as I can, and
Yeah.
not get in my emotions. And again, that sobriety is the biggest thing, because that's where I get really out of whack,
Yeah.
and that's when I want to try to be, hurt myself. And life is a precious gift, and every person in my life and in this life is a precious gift.
Absolutely. And I think
And
that's such a
I want to
beautiful
love,
outlook.
and love is a precious gift, and I want to continue to, and all the things I have are precious gifts, all the material things, all the all the moments I get to be with people and talk with them and everything. And who knows what experiences will be like without, in those moments, if I took my life.
Yeah. No, it's
So
very
I
true.
don't
You would
want
have
that.
missed out on it.
And I don't want people to leave my life either.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
And
like
those are
very,
one of my biggest fears is abandonment, of course, and people leaving me in any shape or form, whether
yeah,
it's through their own choice, whether it's through God's choice. I get sad just thinking about that.
I totally get
I
it.
have PTSD from
Yeah.
that in
Yeah.
general. Especially when I start, if I, falling in love with people, or even my own, I think about that with my dog, I freak out. I start having like
Right.
PTSD. So I don't, and it's funny because it's coming from someone who struggles with their own suicidal ideations. I can leave you, but don't you dare leave me.
Yeah, I got you. It's like it's when it's the other way around. It's like no, no, no.
Yeah, like don't
Yeah.
even like think about leaving me, like.
Yeah. No,
But
I totally
so
get it.
I definitely don't support that for others at all. I don't
Yeah.
condone that. Please don't ever, please reach out to people, resources. There's if you're homeless, there's 211, there's 988. Those are numbers, those are resource numbers.
That's perfect. Yeah.
So
I'll make
yeah,
sure to advertise that too on
yeah, those
our
are,
podcast
if
and the
you're in
video.
yeah, those are I think a national number is 988, and for San Diego the number is 211. So those are good
That's
outreach
good to know.
numbers.
No,
So
and
yeah.
thank you for sharing that, read those resources because yeah, I feel like I agree with you, especially now, like kind of going back to when I initially asked, like, yeah, there is a very severe, not and not saying like we've clarified like your situation, not saying you're homeless. I do apologize for that. Like if that came off harsh, it was
No,
just
it's fine. And,
again more the term
technically
like,
I am, but like,
but
I'm
no, but
not,
you have a place to stay and you're like
but
you're,
it can happen at any time to anybody, and there's nothing
yeah,
wrong. Nobody should feel ashamed if you are,
absolutely, absolutely. Because I was gonna say,
there's nothing wrong with that. And it happens. And the
yeah,
thing is that, that there are people out there who care, and there are resources. So
yeah,
two one
because
number that people can reach out.
in
And
988.
90, you can don't be ashamed. And
Absolutely. And just know that
and
there's like help and resources available. Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, there's definitely a high rise. What I was leading into is there's a high escalation of homeless population. And it's
there
just
is
because,
in San
yeah,
Diego, there's a lot of homelessness. It's very sad.
yeah.
And but their city is doing the best that it can, they can. And we're all doing the best that we can, and that's all that we can do.
My last question was basically just, and I know we kind of danced around this, but if you have any specifics, I was just wanted to ask you, like, what's next for Vanessa de la Hoya? Like, any upcoming projects or new directions you're excited about?
I feel like getting myself to be independent, free of any type of sort of being more self-sufficient, hopefully, hopefully making my family proud, being less fearful, and I have a lot of fear inside me, so I'm held back a lot by fear as far
I
as,
see.
getting a job, I guess.
Yeah, where would you want to work? Like, what stepping stone would you be interested in?
I don't know, something that's, not, something that's worthwhile, something that's lucrative.
I mean, there's definitely
And then I
it's
don't
in
get myself in this position again, something that I can, put myself into a position where I don't end up in this position again. In the
yeah,
sense that,
I totally
I
understand.
really, in a way that I can be self-sufficient. Other than that, I just hope that I could be working in some way and not put myself in this position again.
Yeah, and I hope that for you. I hope you find what you're looking for while you're going through school. I hope you find something that, supports you and feeds your soul at the same time while you're really just like we're discussing, like not gathering yourself at all, but just a similar kind of sequence, like just really going throughout life and just really, kind of picking up what it is that you want and really feeds your soul. And like I just think you are fearless. Like I know like you kind of say like that's something you want to work on, but to me like outside perspective like you really are brave. It takes a lot to come to terms with addiction and past traumas, and whether it be relationships or people, environments, experiences, and really just grab yourself by the like the bridges if you will and just be like, you know what, like I'm not giving up today, like I'm going through it and so is everyone else. And it can be a crappy day, it could be a good day, but you know what? I'm going to keep pushing forward and I'm just going to live my best freaking life how I know. And I'm just going to honor myself and do right by me. And honestly, that's sometimes just the best knowledge you really can have is just like you said, gut, intuition, and just, does this feel good? Yeah, okay, let's go with that. And just keep dancing with it until the dance runs out. Or does this feel right? Nah, but that's okay. I've got this. You know what I mean? Like, I really applaud you. Like it really does take a lot of courage and strength and ability to really come to terms with those things. And then not only that, like formulate a plan and push yourself and stick yourself to it. I mean, like whether it's 6 months or a year or 6 years, I mean, you're doing the damn thing. And not many people can really do that. I mean, honestly, like I've seen, and so if I can leave you with anything today, I just, you have my phone number. If you ever need to talk to someone outside of the circle, like I'm all ears, or I'm here to talk if you need someone to not just be an ear. And I just want to leave you with like really just the best, happiest, pure fortune and energy that could possibly come your way. Like I really just wish all of it for you.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate you. That's so sweet.
absolutely.
All right, Taylor, I gotta get out of here because my phone is about to
Okay.
die.
All right, my love. Well, thank you so much for your time. Take it easy, and
Thank
I
you.
will.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate this
Of course.
a lovely time with you. It was
Thank
nice.
you, and likewise. Thank you so much. It's been all the pleasure and all the honor. You have a good day. Stay safe, and thank you so much.
You too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you wanting to do this. I really am very grateful. Thank you.
Likewise. All right. Well, you have a good
Okay.
one. I'm gonna hang up now, but peace be with you.
Okay, you too. Bye.